What's up, peeps? Julian Williams hit the distance. As you could take a look at the end of the table there. There are two cool things I have there. There's my phone cover. If you look closely, this is a Gucci phone cover. And then I got Licensed to Ill by the Beastie Boys. I actually just got this one today at Target. It was like $5. Definitely can't turn it down. But then the phone cover or phone casing, I've had that for a while. Anyway, peeps, let's talk about upcoming fight between Lucas Browne and James Toney. This is my prediction for the fight. Overall, I really don't like speaking about fighters in this manner, but I definitely just have to keep it very 100 with the people that watch my channel. Lucas Browne is a bona fide scrub. He's a bona fide bum. One thing that Lucas Browne has is he's a strong heavyweight. He has no fundamentals. He's slow on his feet. He has no timing on his shots. He's very predictable. Doesn't tuck his chin. Just has very little fundamental boxing. Oh yeah, and the fight I'm watching here is Gene Tunney versus Jack Dempsey 1. But just overall, I just don't. I think that Browne has little to no chance of winning this fight. Of course, he has power on his side, and with fighters who have power, one punch can change, the fight against anybody. We're talking about older James Toney as well. But Browne has little to no chance of winning this fight. Like I said before, he's predictable. He seems to be easy to hit. The only name that stands out on his resume is Clarence Williams. And Clarence Williams is a bum too. A lot of the people that he has fought are fighters who have more losses on their record than wins, or fighters with multiple losses on their record. I don't know if he's defeated an undefeated fighter just yet. James Toney isn't necessarily undefeated, but he's been in the ring with some of the best fighters in our era. Roy Jones Jr., that was a huge fight at the time. Like, he was at one time, James Toney was the #1 pound for pound fighter in the world. He faced Sam Peter before Sam Peter got knocked out by Robert Helenas when he went to after he went to Top Rank. He's when Reggie Johnson and Michael Second to None, who was like one of the best fighters in the world, when he defeated him, and the trilogy with Mike McCallum, the fight against Holyfield, he's been in with some of the best fighters of our generation. But Lucas Browne is so predictable. I feel as if this fight is just tailor-made for Toney, whether he's past his prime or not. If he loses this fight, then it just tells you it's time. It just tells you that it's time to hang up, and it's been time for James Toney to hang the gloves up. Nobody's gonna fight him. As sad as it sounds, it's nobody's gonna fight him. Klitschko's more likely the Klitschko brothers are not gonna fight him. You'll never know. He might get a fight with the Alexander Povetkin. He might. And I'm saying that very, very loosely. But James Toney just needs to quit. He did, come down to 200 almost 2 years ago to fight Denis Lebedev. I know he got injured in that fight because if you're like 240 one fight and you're coming down and you're like 198 the next fight, then that's gonna do its wear and tear on your bones. No matter, especially if you're over 40 years old, and your weight fluctuates. But this fight just seems to be tailor made for James Toney. He's sharp. He's not as quick as he used to be. He's not as agile. But one thing that has never left was his skill. That's something that never leaves a fighter is skill. James Toney in this fight, he's going to be landing counter rights and counter left hooks all night. Like I said, it's going to be a lot easier to duck this man's shots. Like I said, he has little to no timing on his punches. He doesn't have a good proper technique. Primarily, all you can say is he's a club fighter. Boxer versus club fighter, I'm always going to go with the boxer. I think James Toney can win this fight. I'm thinking he's probably going to knock him out. Browne's been to 12 once. I think that was against Clarence Williams. But I think James, like I said, it's not the greatest fight for a fighter like a for a for a fighter like Browne. It's it's not the right fight for him. I applaud him for taking this fight. At this point of his career, he has a high knockout ratio against little fat sloppy bums that probably fight down the street at the behind the corner bakery. But come on, we're talking about James Lights Out Toney, a future Hall of Famer, and this guy. So I'm sorry if I offend some Luke Browne fans. I just don't think he's that good. Just my opinion. Like I said, I don't think he does. There's nothing that he does extremely well. Like I said, slow on his feet, no timing on his jab. He just goes out and he throws punches. You can't go out and throw punches against a fighter like James Toney, who creates their own openings. You feel what I'm saying? So I'm going with James Toney in this one. I'm going with James Toney, and that's my prediction. That's my final word. But on the other end, say there's that 1% chance that James Toney does lose. That should be a significant sign that, hey, he has to quit. Because what we all are going to say if James Toney loses. Man, if it was 10 years ago, like when he was fighting Evander Holyfield or Vasily Jurov, man, he would have killed this dude. He would have slaughtered this dude. And he still should be able to. But that's what James Toney fans would say. I said it when he fought Lebedev. But, we all entitled to our own opinion. I'm going with James Toney maybe cutting him up and getting a TKO in 11. Let me know what you think. That was The Distance. Thanks for watching. I'm out of here.